Hello, gentlemen, and welcome to another Pal of You Market Research video. Today, we're going to be discussing kind of a market outlook on American real estate. And I haven't really talked about my background so much, but I come from a development background. I'm still a part of a team before I joined Pal of You that, went from zero to $500 million in pipeline in 4 years. We raised tens of millions of dollars to do that. I've got NDAs signed with some of the most famous and ruthless deca billionaires in the world. Some of those deals are continuing. Some of those deals I'm, thank God, not in. Yeah, so let's keep going. So we're going to first start off with where to look. Where to look in the American geography, I guess. First, Savannah, Charleston, Myrtle Beach. This coastline here, and actually, kind of the towns behind it too, like Hinesville, Augusta, Somerville, like Columbia, like those markets are going to continue to crush. And you can really buy nice assets right now for not that much that are existing. And there's huge demand for, especially in Savannah, Georgia, in the context of residential and what I like to call affordable plus. It's not like Section 8, it's not affordable housing, but it's like a tier, just like half a tier above that, right? I think that there's massive demand for that here in Savannah, and that's like a very uh, safe place to park your money. And then there's middle income, like the amenitized apartment buildings that you see being built up everywhere, right? And I do think that there's probably a really nice opportunity in the context of like luxury short-term rental Airbnbs, even though there are existing assets that are pretty good. But I think that there's actually another level that you can take things there that people will really engage with. Okay, this one's a little more nuanced. And this is actually in the context of industrial properties in St. Louis. Okay, so let me explain. To the left of this line, right, is extremely cheap land with pretty friendly regulations. And on the right side of this line is Illinois, and that we don't want to do anything in Illinois, I don't think. But as you can see with this map, what you're looking at here is like a pipeline map of the United States in this specific Midwestern region, right? And I have St. Louis highlighted here because I'm trying to show you that St. Louis is connecting it's a kind of a nexus for a bunch of major cities: Cleveland, Chicago, Milwaukee, Indianapolis, right? So a lot of the natural gas that's coming from and starting here in Texas is making its way to St. Louis. And there is a huge opportunity to do like more industrial properties here, not even to like run an industrial property yourself, but buying land and then finding one of these guys who builds these natural gas refineries, which is actually what these green dots are. And you can see there's only one in St. Louis. There's definitely going to be, I would say, another dozen, if not more, built in this greater area very soon. Hopefully that's you, because St. Louis has like a famously interesting like pipeline, like chemical pipelines. All these different types of pipelines run underneath St. Louis, and it kind of serves as a nexus point for those opportunities. So if you're interested in industrial properties and a market where, St. Louis is tough because St. Louis was once one of the largest cities in America, but it's had a crazy population decline over the past many years. But industrial opportunities like that, I think, will absolutely crush here. And the last one, for the context of what to do, where to look, is actually Arkansas. Arkansas is, in my opinion, kind of a hidden gem when it comes to agricultural land and kind of also that affordable plus residential opportunity I was talking about earlier. I do think that there's kind of a niche, interesting opportunity when it comes to, you know, like, honestly, as weird as it sounds, like homesteading. I think that homesteader culture is becoming bigger and bigger. So building a few homesteads over there that you double or triple your money on, I think is very possible in a place like Arkansas, because Arkansas is like some of the healthiest, most beautiful land. I mean, like, look at this. Like, Arkansas nature is very, very underrated. And with the age of the internet and stuff, like, beauty doesn't go hidden for very long. People travel to beautiful places. I dated this girl in Colorado once, and she was from Arkansas, and she would show me these cave parties they would throw there. Like literally, like they have these crazy cave systems, and they would throw raves in these caves, and they'd bring generators in. I don't know. So maybe I'm romanticizing this, uh, but Arkansas I think is really underrated. Okay, so where not to look? Where do you want to avoid putting your money in real estate at all costs? First of all, this area highlighted here in California, Los Angeles, this greater region, I think it's kind of hard to say, right? And I'm saying this confidently in the context of high end residential because the amount of supply of homes that are above that $3.5 to $4 million price point that are currently listed for sale in that area is obscene, and there's not the demand to support it. And so if those prices don't fall, they at least will go down 2 to 5% per year for a while, and then maybe they'll get back to their all-time highs, but they're not reaching new all-time highs, guys, in this area. I think Los Angeles could be the next Detroit, meaning Hollywood and these industries that have attracted people there, I think are decentralizing to Atlanta and to all these other markets. So yeah, I wouldn't invest in anything in California personally because I don't trust the government there. And one of the untapped tax revenues for the state there is property taxes. So property taxes in California with one bill can change overnight, and you don't own that shit anymore. You're just renting that shit, and that is fucked up. So I would avoid California at all costs when it comes to owning anything, unless you're just cool with renting land, which was the whole point of which, it just is offensive to real estate investing. The state of Idaho. Avoid the state of Idaho because there was a bunch of really institutional money that moved into Idaho and just built a huge amount of homes. And those homes are still sitting there. They built them pre-COVID, and there was some like a little bit of absorption there, but I think the Idaho market's weird. I don't trust it at all. I don't see any opportunity there. I think that there's a huge supply imbalance and just a bunch of institutional money moved in there, built a bunch of homes for actually people leaving LA, weirdly enough. And I think people actually prefer Montana and Wyoming, honestly, over Idaho. So it's like Idaho's like, that weird stepsister for those mountain living people that just, I don't, it's just like, it's like that nerdy stepsister with acne and like the glasses. It's like, it makes no sense. There are many better places to invest. And lastly is Denver, Colorado. I was living in Boulder, Colorado before moving to Boulder. Excuse me. I was living in Boulder, Colorado before moving to Puerto Rico. And in Denver, I spent a lot of time looking at deals over there. But guys, when you drive around in Denver, it's just flat, okay? Like I'm showing you a topographic map here showing you how fucking flat it is. There's there's no logic to where things are going to grow, right? And because there's no luxury market there at all, there is no opportunity to sell anything luxury there at all. Your only opportunity is kind of that middle income amenitized apartment buildings, right? And you're not going to compete with those guys who are already deploying there. And they're metric driven. They're playing on your medium income levels. Like they know exactly how much you make in that 40 to 60th percentile of income, right? So I think Denver is like an interesting market if you're with an institution who can build 300, 400 unit apartment buildings, right? But otherwise, I wouldn't recommend living there or building anything luxury there ever. And for me, if there's not niche luxury plays in that market in a city environment, it's a no-go. It's a no-go. And again, there's no logic to how this can grow. So in Puerto Rico, there's a lot of logic about where it makes sense to build. near the water, right? You want to be as close to the water as possible within a 35-minute radius of the major airport, right? If you're within 45 minutes, 45 minutes of that major airport and you're on the water, you have an unbelievable asset, in my opinion. And I guess, added a fourth one, which is Puerto Rico, but I guess you guys probably already knew that. Okay, guys, that is today's video. See you tomorrow.